Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is balance, and I have Sarah with me now so that I can point out some of the concepts to you concerning balance. The first thing you have to be able to get an idea, as we were talking about a little bit before, was like a graph. If I took a line and I were to take it and split Sarah in half back to front, okay, split her evenly in half, all right, that's one way the graph is going to run. Next way the graph is going to run, I'm going to split her into what is a right side and a left side, again evenly. And we have one more line that we can divide her up with, if we're into the dividing mood. But anyway, it's a top half and a bottom half. All right, when you start thinking of balance, those are some of the things you need to think about. First of all, you want to have good posture when you're just standing there. To have good posture, you have to think of having a very long backbone. To create that, for some people, they slouch. Give me a slouch. All right. See what she's doing here? She's letting her chest collapse and her shoulders collapse. So she would have to think about correcting that of pulling her chest up a little bit, pulling her shoulders back slightly. For some people, they get something the opposite. They just kind of lean out through their diaphragm. For those people, they need to think of keeping their pelvis up a little bit. So there's just a little tone in their stomach. So their chest is up, but their pelvis is pulled up too. Because if Sarah's pulling her pelvis forward towards her rib cage, pulling this together, her backbone is in very long. Try it sometime. Think about pulling this together, contracting as hard as you can so your stomach's really pulled in. Feel how long that makes your backbone. Now bring your chin over to your chest. Feel how that stretches the backbone. You're actually trying to make it as long as it possibly can. All right, relax. More important than anything else is you always want to think of trying to keep a very long backbone, to keep the backbone, the vertebrae actually separated a little bit by pulling the muscles this way. Very rarely, now push your chest out, arch your back just a bit, lay your head back. Very rarely do we actually want to think of doing this type of position. We do use it, and whenever you do use it, you have to be very relaxed. Relax again, because you're compressing the vertebrae together. And when you're doing that and you're turning, or you're smashing it by allowing those strong muscles back there to pull it back very strongly, you can hurt them. This is where people start getting sciatica and arthritis in their back and a lot of back pain. So you want to do a lot of things more by making a long back, by pulled up. So this is where the good posture comes at here. All right. When Sarah used some turn out, go ahead, turn your feet out. Go ahead and now do a plie. Okay. You can still see the backbone staying right there. Go ahead and come back up. Now go up on your toes, what we call a releve. Again, the same thing. And what happens, of course, if she goes on her toe, her weight comes a little bit forward because she has to balance over the balls of her feet. Now, if she goes back onto a flat foot, the weight comes back slightly. Now, when you start getting into picture lines, you start raising your leg up one direction or another. If I were to use, go ahead and stand this way. If I were to point my foot forward, that changes the balance, so to speak. And this is why I'm talking about if I take my left foot forward, I have to think about pulling my hip back a little bit too so I can stay balanced on the right foot, either up or flat. If you think about bending your knees slightly, the same things are happening. All right? Now, when you want to balance in the different picture lines and positions and things like that, to not put much pressure on your body, you have to start thinking about how to create like a forward and a backwards line. That'll be the next thing we get into in just a minute, are lines, and we're going to combine lines with balance. So, if you go up on the ball of one foot, if Sarah were to go up on the ball of left, and go hold a back attitude with your right leg. Okay, and we'll talk about the attitude in a second, but she's having to compensate. Go ahead and turn your foot out a little. All right, she's pushing this out, she's pushing this out. So she's turning both of them out slightly to help her balance there. So as she's balancing on the one foot, she's keeping her body locked together. She's holding on through the muscles there so that she can hold that position. Those are things you want to practice a lot. Practice going up on the ball of your foot, ladies or gentlemen, and holding different positions. We can hold a position with the right foot down by the foot, called sur le coup de pied. The right foot is wrapped around there. Now go up and head releve on the foot. Now she can bring it up into what we call passe dance position here, and we can have that turned in or turned out. All right, and she can hold a forward attitude of the foot, high, bend it a little more. There you go. All right, and she can hold a back attitude of the foot. All right, she can hold the foot straight to the side. Go ahead and use the left leg now. Straight out to the side. Okay, and remember again, if you can hold the foot straight out to the side, or you can hold it to the side in second position of your turn out. if I want to hold it straight out to either side and still be able to balance here, I need to think of that I'm not taking it straight out to my side, but to the side in relation to my turnout. So my foot would be there. And this is what's going to allow me to stay in one position. If I try and take it straight out to the side, I have to start skewing my hip around. That changes my alignment and my balance. All right? So you have attitudes, you have arabesque. If Sarah were to hold a back arabesque with her left leg going straight back, here, she's still trying to hold nice balance. If she were to keep her leg on going, then her body would do a penché, and it's going over and coming back, where the leg and the body are moving together. And the whole point of this is when you do things like spins, you have to be able to think about where your balance is, so that as you spin around your left foot, your balance is over the ball of the left foot. So if she were to spin around the left foot, her balance is over that left foot. You can only spin when you're over the foot. If Sarah's balance, go ahead and collapse. If her balance is way out over here, she has to compensate maybe by bending her knee or pulling her hips back. Do a tabletop type position for me. Put your feet together. There you go. She's compensating now because she's taking a lot of weight this way. She's compensating by allowing her hips to roll back just a little bit, so that her balance is going to be, if she would put the balance over the balls of her feet, there, so the hips are back a little bit, head is forward. You can see the head is up here, very long, straight back. Bend your knees now. That position can also be done with the knees bent, which takes a lot of strain off the hamstrings and the low back when that's done. Okay? And if you're going to do a whip tunnel type position, the balance would have to be just through plie, grand plie, down. Leave your toes together. Here. And you see when she goes down, that automatically raises her heels up. She's going to spin over the balls of her feet. But you see where her body's at. Okay, she's going down. If she were to just duck her head down as she did a spin, that's again going to change your balance slightly. These are things you have to take into consideration. By thinking of where your body is and how it's balanced will help you later parts. Okay, we'll be right back with lines.